Hi, my name is Keisha Natalie Cole. I am here to share my story. About 20 years ago, I had a really bad car accident, broke my neck, I was paralyzed. It was quite an interesting journey. I was new in my faith, and sometimes when we think about where we are and we think about where we're going, we don't often stop to realize how we're going to get there. And God had a plan for me, and He allowed that to happen to me. And looking back, I understand now, okay, God, I see what you were doing. And I'm so excited to be here on I Ain't That Chick to share my story with you all.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Rayshawn Natay, and guess what? I am back with another episode of I Ain't That Chick. Y'all have seen Miss Keisha Natalie Cole. You heard her intro. We're gonna get into her story. Please say hello to our audience.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Don't y'all just love her energy? I love it already, you know. Now, first I have to say, I was scrolling through Facebook on my timeline and you popped up. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I just have to believe that it was purposed for me to talk to you. Two things I noticed right away. One, your name was Keisha Natalie Cole.
Yes.
Different.
Yeah.
I know people talk to you and mention that all the time.
All the time, everywhere I go.
What's
your name? Keisha Cole. Really? The Keisha Cole? Yes, the Keisha Cole. I was born first. Hello?
She said yes.
I'm just saying.
She said yes. I love it. Yes.
Don't let me have to travel and they're holding a sign that says Keisha Cole, and then there's like a crowd around, people waiting to see where she at, or if I have to sing or something and they're like, Keisha Cole is here, and then I get up and everybody's like,
that ain't the Keisha Cole.
That ain't Keisha Cole. Yes, it is.
Now, do y'all spell it the same way?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, she said, but she was born first, and she sings too. Would you love to sing with Keisha one day?
Nope.
All right, well, I'm moving right along. I can understand that because I have a twin brother, and I love having a twin brother. I don't know that I'd want a twin sister because I don't want nobody being just like me.
Right?
Yeah. So the other thing I saw when I saw your picture on Facebook, you had this, I call it like a head contraption or like a halo, I think you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I said, gosh, there has to be a story behind that. And so you're going to share your story. How did that happen?
Well, I had a brief period where I was a girl in the iron mask. I hated that thing. Oh my God, I hated it so bad. I had a car accident. I was 21, literally fresh into my
You look 21.
21
now,
is just
you do.
Thank you so much. And nobody but Jesus.
I know
and my mama.
Right.
Good genes. Shout out to you, mommy. Love you, dear. So I was 21. We were on spring break.
Okay.
And I'm a young mom. I was a young mom. I had my first son at 17. And he was with his grandmother at the time. Okay. So I really, being a single parent, you're not able to travel and do the things that you want to do because, you have responsibilities. So I'm at home and all my friends are like in Miami and doing their thing, spring break, and I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. Okay. My phone rings, I get a phone call. It's a coworker of mine, he's my friend, and he's like, hey, I'm going to Atlantic City, you want to come? We'll go watch the sunrise. I'm all like, oh, that sounds so fancy.
That was a date.
Right? Well, we couldn't date because I wasn't interested in him like that. But I wanted to go to Atlantic City. It was spring break. Hello.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I want to have a story to tell too. What did I have a story to tell?
Story.
But the interesting part about it was I was watching was it Clark Kent's story? What is his name?
I don't know.
Right,
Superman,
right?
Superman, yeah.
So I was watching his story about how he had fallen off the horse and got paralyzed and things like that.
Adam West.
Right?
Okay.
And I said in my head, I was like, wow, I wonder what it feels like to be paralyzed. Y'all better be careful what you ask for. That's all I'm saying. Dead serious. So we head out to Atlantic City. And on the way to Atlantic City, I took over driving. He was in the back seat sleeping. I didn't know where I was going. First time going there. Got lost. So we're driving down this really dark road, and all of a sudden I see all this debris in the middle of the road. I'm thinking I could just drive past it, and it's like super dark down there, like you can't see. Had I been a more experienced driver, I probably would have turned on my high beams, and I probably would have stopped the car.
Wait a minute, you're 17 at this time.
21.
21.
Yeah, and I just got my driver's license.
Oh, and you were driving?
Yes.
And where was
a month in. He was in the back seat sleeping.
You never leave the driver.
I didn't.
You never sleep and leave the driver to drive by themselves. Right? Never.
Right. Don't do that to me again. But I didn't know. So I'm chilling. I'm all excited. Anyway, I should have stopped the car. I did not. I kept going. And according to the police report, because I blacked out, so I don't really know what happened. But according to the police report, our vehicle drove from this side of the street up the cables, because it seemed like the car before us ran into the street, what do they call it, the pole, and it broke, and that was all the debris.
That was the car.
Yeah, it was the car before us destroyed that, and that's what was in the street. So our vehicle drove along the cables that were still connected to the pole on the other side. And from the pictures in the police report, we went up the cables and then fell off. So I'm assuming the vehicle probably rolled a couple of times, and the roof caved in, causing me to break my neck.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to picture all
right.
It. So you're just driving through the debris or the car, the fragments of the car. Right. Do you hit the car?
No, we didn't even see the car.
No,
because the vehicle that hit the pole was in a ditch.
So you're conscious while you're going up the cables?
I don't remember any of that.
You don't remember any of it?
That's how good God is, y'all. I don't remember any of that. I'm sure it was very painful, but I don't remember any of that. I didn't feel any pain. I blacked out, but I was conscious because I could hear people talking. I guess when the ambulance came, maybe I came back too, but I couldn't see anything but darkness. And it was amazing how looking at the pictures, the car was completely destroyed. They had to cut us out of the car. I took my first helicopter ride, right, to the hospital, and they immediately put me into surgery because they had to get my neck stabilized. So I broke my neck in 2 places, and I bruised my spinal cord, causing it to swell, causing no messages to go to the left side of my body. So I was completely paralyzed on my left side.
You see me just looking like
I know.
Okay,
right?
what is the last thing you remembered before you woke up?
Just darkness, a lot of talking, and 3:15. I have no idea what that.
3:15.
Yeah, the time. 3:15.
Okay. And what's the first thing you remember when you woke up? First thing you remember seeing or hearing or feeling?
So I woke up on a table. My mom was there. My dad was by the door, and a police officer was standing next to me, and they were working on me. I remember throwing up, and I remember the police officer saying to me, maybe we should question you at another time. And I guess I was super high. I had to be high because I'm giggling like, no, it's fine. Ask me whatever you want.
Nobody but God. Oh,
hilarious. So, of course, he was asking me the pertinent questions. Were you wearing your seatbelt? Do you remember what happened? And stuff like that. And my dad was just kind of standing at the door and I'm like, hey, I'm all happy, laughing, giggling. I swear it must have been the drugs because I should have been.
Were you wearing your seatbelt?
Yes.
You were wearing your seatbelt?
Yes, I was wearing my seatbelt. And I also remember I had on a pair of Armani jeans that were my very first Armani jeans.
Look, I don't even own a pair of Armani jeans.
My very first. Okay. And they cut my jeans up, y'all. I was so sad. So sad they cut off my jeans. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand the extent of the accident until the next morning when I woke up.
Okay.
Yeah, and the nurse, I woke up with this big thing on my body and tubes down my throat, and I was just like, what is going on? I'm thinking, okay, I had a little accident, I'm going to go home.
Right.
No. The nurse is like, well, you're not going to be able to talk because of the tube, but once they take it out, you can talk. Of course, we don't listen. When somebody tells us we can't do nothing, what's the first thing we do? We try to do it, right? So I'm all like,
trying to talk.
Yeah, and she's looking at me like, I just told you. You can't talk. That reminds me.
That's youth. That's all 21 youth right there.
Right? I don't know how many of y'all watch this Luke Cage mess, this show, Luke Cage. Well, first of all, it's an interesting show. But the whole premise is everybody tries to shoot Luke Cage. They know he can't get shot, but they try it anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I tried to talk.
You trying to talk,
I was like,
were you in pain? Were you?
No. I wasn't in any pain. Because they kept me drugged up consistently, and so
you were just high. That's what that.
Yeah, I was high as a kite, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know what they gave.
You was feeling good.
I had no happy juice, right? Happy juice. So I wrote her a note. She was like, "Why don't you write
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I'm writing a soliloquy, you know, like what's going on? Why am I here? What's happening? Da da da. And she takes the page and she's like, I'm sorry, but I can't read this. And she shows it to me because I'm like, I have beautiful handwriting. What do you mean you can't read it? She shows it to me. It is scribble scrabble, like a 2-year-old drawing, just circles.
Really?
And it was crazy. I was like in so much shock at that point. And I started to cry because I'm like, what is going on? I can't write sentences?
You thought you had written a note?
I thought I'd written an entire, I was like, because I couldn't look down. You know, so I'm just like writing like this because my neck is in this position.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna figure out what's happening here. And she was like, when the doctor comes in, you know, they'll explain everything. So once they took the tube out, then I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I can't move. I got this thing on my body. I'm sitting here. I have no idea. And then they explained to me, you know, the doctors told me what happened. I'd broken my neck and they weren't sure whether I would walk again and all this stuff. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. My friend sustained a concussion and broke his sternum. So he was, you know, doing way better than I was. And so I spent about a week in the hospital and then they shipped me back to Kessler in West Orange.
Wow. So when they, first of all, when the doctor comes in and shows you your writing, that we would call it scribble scrabble or whatever.
Right.
What do you think? Like,
I had no idea what to think. I was just like, oh my God, my life is over.
And when the doctor tells you what happened and your injuries, because you wake up with this big old thing on, and you're thinking, I would think at 21, because that's when your life starts popping, really, you start doing the doggone thing.
I was modeling. I was like, you know, people were blowing my head up because I had just found my beauty. You know, growing up, I thought I was this ugly duckling. I didn't think I was very pretty. And once I got into my senior year after I had my first son, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're gorgeous," and I'm like, "Oh, I am.
It's my time, right? I'm about to do
I'm
this.
doing all kinds of crazy stuff, hanging with folks. You know, and I always believe in my heart when I look back that there was a reason that God allowed this, because sometimes we try to figure out, why would God do this to me? You know,
and why would God allow it?
Right, but there was he allowed it for a purpose, because I know that had I stayed in that environment, I probably would not have been here in this capacity where I am today, because I was really running with the wrong crowd.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And not that I got into drugs or anything like that, but they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. 2-3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be at some club doing fashion shows. I needed to be home with my son. Like, you know, I was just a mess.
So you just slowed down a little bit. You just, God,
he was
trying
like,
to slow down.
He was trying to call me and I wasn't listening. I was like, you know, afterwards, you're like, why?
Yeah, why?
Why, Lord? Why?
Cause you had. Now, how long were you in Kessler?
About 3 months. 3.5 months.
You had 3.5 months to sit and think
about
to ask why. And to, you know, a lot of us will say, well, you know, I asked God why, I didn't hear anything. You had some time to listen to get an answer.
He had been talking to me. And, you know, the crazy thing was, I knew, even though I was running the streets, I knew that He wasn't going to leave me that way. You know, that I was not going to stay that way. I was going to walk up out of there. And that's just what I kept believing. I'm walking up out of here. You know, I had so much love, so much support from family and friends. And even the people inside Kessler, my nurse was wonderful. My physical therapists were wonderful. There was no way I was going to leave the same that I went in.
Because you couldn't write and you couldn't walk.
Yeah. And I'm seeing people with the same injury, well, maybe not the same, but spinal cord injuries, walking with this halo. And I'm like, well, why can't I walk?
You're just in the bed. And
they
had to come and help you go to the bathroom. And
that was rough.
Oh, like losing. What is it like to lose your independence?
It's not fun. It's very traumatic, right? Because
you need somebody for everything.
Yeah, you're so used to getting up and just walking, and the little things that we take, you know, for granted. And we realize, oh my God, like, are you for real? Like, I'm gonna need help out of the bed, to go to the bathroom, to take a shower.
Yeah, and all of that personal, intimate,
the
intimate stuff that somebody else has to be exposed to.
You don't know me, and here you come, you know. But it was traumatic, but it was beautiful at the same time because of the people that God placed in my life to help me through that. You know, even in the nurses and the staff at Kessler, they were all so wonderful. They make you feel comfortable. You know, they understand that you're grieving the loss of your life.
Right.
Even though you're alive, you know, you're grieving the loss of your life as it was before.
Yeah.
You know, and now you've got to think about, well, what is my life going to be like now? You know, am I going to be stuck in a wheelchair? Life in a wheelchair is not easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, is this going to be what I have to do for the rest of my life? Am I going to need help for the rest of my life? How are people going to look at me? Oh my God, is anybody even going to find me attractive anymore?
Yeah. You think about, and as a woman, definitely think about, as a human being, you think about all those things.
Right.
But even as a woman, you know, you were modeling, you're a mom, and just, you know, you have a young son. Will I be able to pick my son up?
Right.
Can I go play with my son anymore?
It was interesting.
Now, did God speak to you though during that time?
He did. He did. It's so interesting because for a very long time, I envied people that say they would hear from God. You know, oh, God spoke to me and this is what he said, and I used to always be like, well, when is he going to talk to me? Mind you, he had been talking to me an awful lot. I just hadn't been listening.
That's
you know, right? Because if we are in a place where we're just constantly moving, doing things, and we don't actually stop to listen, how can I hear you talking to me if I'm running by you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he needed to sit me down so that I could hear what he had to say. And I was just like, God, all you had to do was say Keisha, and I would have been like, yeah. Even though that wasn't the truth.
Down
because he was calling me, and I just was not trying to hear it.
Why do you think he was calling you?
At that time, I didn't really know. You know, I have a calling on my life. I'm a minister, and I'm still trying to understand it all because I kind of ran from the call for a very long time. I had that Jonah spirit, but I think it was always something that he had for me, even as a child. You know, I went to a Catholic church. I wasn't raised in the Baptist church, and then I was introduced to it. I fell in love with the music of it all. Music is a very serious part of my life. And I wanted to sing, you know? I wanted to sing. I blame Yolanda Adams. Okay? I'll put it on the record. She had an album. Oh my God, I love her to death.
Is it the black one with the white Y? Was that it?
Oh, that was a good one too.
Okay.
That was like her jazzy album. But no, this was an old school album. And she had a song on there. And in the song it said, Lord, I want a ministry that will touch all people, right? That will last. And I was like, that's what I want. But it was supposed to be in music. Music, Lord. Except I didn't specify it.
Okay.
So when I prayed the prayer, I prayed just that. And, you know, as I got a little older, I realized that I love the word and I like talking about it. You know, but I didn't see myself as a minister. I don't want to be behind anybody's pulpit because that's such a huge responsibility.
It is. It's a weight. It's a weight that you carry.
Yeah.
It's a weight.
Right. And I'm just like, I didn't want that. I was like, nope, because I'm not messing that up. I don't want to get to heaven and you be like, oh, sorry.
Keisha Nicole.
It's a wrap for you.
Yeah. To the end of the line. To the end of the line you go.
Okay. So I didn't want that. I'm like, I don't want that responsibility, but still I have this yearning, you know, to preach. And I was just like, well, what is that about? You know, and so I believe that, you know, there was a reason for my accident, and, you know, I like to call it, I was accidentally blessed.
I like that.
And because of it, I had to stop and really look at life and really see what it was about and really understand, okay, God, there's something that you have for me to do, you know, because I had a whole bunch of other different stuff that happened along the way, and I'm still here. So I'm like, all right, God.
Praise God. So did God say, okay, you know what, did he tell you what he wanted you to do during that time when you were laid up in Kessler?
No, and if he did, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
You know, but I did hear, keep going, keep pushing. It's not going to be this way. Yeah, I got it.
Did you ever have any rough moments where it was like, you know what, I don't want to do this?
Oh, I cried many a times. Yeah, especially during physical therapy, because imagine that you're there and you're doing something. The nurse is telling you, okay, move your leg. You're looking at her like,
I am moving my leg?
You know I can't move my leg. Why are you trying to tell me to move my leg? And she's like, you just have to try. Because we don't be like, leg move.
Right.
You know what I mean? We just move.
Yeah.
But we have to. But she's like, mentally, you have to think
you
about
have to feel it, right? And
so that the message goes down, and I was just like telling my foot to move, and my foot wasn't moving. And after doing that, you know, day in and day out, it kind of gets frustrating. You cry, and I was just so angry, and I was just like, why can't this work? Like, you gotta move. And it was
something so simple that we take for granted every day. And
yeah.
you know, the act, like, you know, I always pray, you know, God, thank you for the activity of our limbs, because we take the small things for granted. Being able to speak and being able to walk, and then to one day get up and you can't walk again. God, thank you for the activity of my limbs. God, thank you for my speech. God, just the little things.
For my right mind.
Yeah, for the sanity of my mind.
Yes.
Because some people, you know, wake up and they're not in their right mind.
Right.
And you look at, like, what happened? What's going on? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So that first day when you're in physical therapy, you can actually move your leg, move your foot.
Oh, the first.
What is that like?
So let me tell you about the first time I moved a part of the left side of my body.
And you're in physical therapy with this?
Yes.
And is that painful?
Yes. I was in pain every day, and so they gave me all kinds of pills, Percocet, and some other stuff. I had pills every day, and I had to have a shot every day in my stomach, blood thinner every day in my stomach.
Okay. So you didn't clot while you were laying down.
Yeah.
Because isn't that like drilled into your forehead?
Yep, it's drilled in 4 points. So point 1, point 2, and then point 3 and point 4 right by my ears, right behind my ears. And
that's painful enough.
Well, yeah, it was uncomfortable. Yes, it was. But, you know, I'm grateful it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Because I saw a lot of people there that were in way worse shape than I was, and so I was just grateful for even the little bit of shape I was in.
Yeah, thank you, God, because it could have been worse. And it's about perspective, and you know, I'm even learning that, just learning to do more of that, to see to see God in the situations that look dim and dull, and God, you know what? Okay, I thank you for this because it could have been that.
Right.
You know. So and sometimes we just have to take a minute and get our perspective in line.
Yeah.
So what is that like? You're able to move.
So I think if I remember correctly, I think my arm moved first, and then finally my legs started. The muscles started to regenerate in my legs because they had completely atrophied to like nothing, which makes it a lot harder. And so
3 months.
Yeah, well, this was in a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What?
So, because I didn't have any exercise going, you know, the first week that I was in the hospital, they didn't exercise. I didn't exercise or have any kind of physical therapy or anything like that. And my pinky toe moved. And I was like, oh, my pinky toe. You know, like I'm calling everybody, oh my God, my pinky toe.
That's hope. That's hope. You celebrate.
Yeah. And then I was able to like kick a little bit. Yeah, so people would come to my room and be like, kick me. And I'm like, okay.
The first time anybody would ever say kick me.
Right. I'm like, yay. So I'm, you know, doing my little kick, and then, you know, it gradually started functioning more and more, and then, you know, physical therapy got a little bit more intense, and then God is so good. I healed a lot faster than normal, right? So after 3 months, I think I had to wear the halo for a little bit more than that, maybe 4 or 5 months. But after 3.5 months, they cleared me to have it removed, right? I'm like, yes, I'm free.
Oh, when they take
I'm
that
free
off,
of this thing.
You sleep with that on, right? And that's got to be uncomfortable. It's got everything.
Yeah, you know, you sleep. This is literally the only way you can go, really. You know, and so.
So little by little, you're able to move something. Little by little, the halo comes off.
Yes.
Little by little, you're getting back to yourself.
Yeah.
And what is that feeling like?
It was interesting because I didn't necessarily get back to myself. You know, after the halo came off, I had to wear a neck brace for a couple of weeks, and I still had to deal with the weakness in my left body, left part of my body. My hand stays like this most days, you know, most times, unless I like straighten it or, you know, mess with it. And I walk with a limp now.
Okay.
So it was interesting because, you know, when you're used to walking regular and then all of a sudden you start walking with a limp, people notice, right? And people are so ignorant sometimes. What's wrong with your foot? your feet hurt, you tired, you know, just, oh my gosh, all kinds of crazy. Even my sister, one of my sisters would take me out when I had the halo, because they would allow us to go out.
Okay.
And she would drag me out into the street wearing this halo. I hated every minute of it, but she would drag me out there, and she would dare anyone to like say something, because you know, you can tell people are curious, they don't understand, they're looking, and they don't realize that sometimes their actions can create insecurities with the person. And so so when I started to walk, you know, and people are asking me these kind of questions, and I'm just like, you know, y'all are just
too much.
Yeah, it was very overwhelming. It was very overwhelming, and even today, like if I'm super tired, if my body's really really tired, my limp is a lot more pronounced than it would be if I were, you know, energetic and I'm bouncing around. And you still get those ignorant folks every once in a while. And I'm not supposed to wear heels.
But listen, you know,
but,
you're a woman.
What had happened was,
exactly.
I don't like flats.
Neither do I.
Oh my gosh.
My bedroom slippers are heels. I just want some height.
Right, and it helps because then I have to lift my foot up. Yeah. But so if depending on the heels that I'm wearing, sometimes I don't walk right in them because I ain't supposed to have them on in the first place. And you know, people will be like, "Well, you can't walk in them shoes," and I'm just like,
if you only knew.
Right. And sometimes I stop and I say, listen, you know, if you really want to know what's going on, then ask it, but don't be ignorant about it. Let me tell you what my story is, you know, because that's an opportunity for me to witness the power of who God is. Like, you would never believe I couldn't walk. And now look at me. I don't care I'm walking with a limp some days, because some days I do care.
Right. Now, how has your life changed, or even ministry-wise? What are you doing now?
So now I am the young adult minister in my church.
Amen.
And I also work with the youth minister, my partner. She's my partner in ministry. I love her to death. We work together with the youth, the teens, and the young adults. And I'm still singing. I'm the worship leader in my church. Yeah, so, you know, now I'm doing that. I do my own business as a financial advisor. And
awesome. Yeah. How is your perspective different after, you know, years later? Like, you know, when you were 21 and 17 and 21, how is your perspective different today than it was back then? Just your perspective on life.
So my perspective, well, it's definitely changed. Because, you know, when you're 21, everything... you don't care about anything.
You take everything for granted.
You're not listening. You're just like, whatever, I'm free.
On my own
listen to my parents. I can do whatever I want, you know.
Right.
But looking back, every choice that we make has a consequence. You know, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence, it's a consequence. And it's something that we have to live with for the rest of our lives. So, you know, now... everything that I do, I think about first. Okay. Because I want to make sure, okay, how does this affect me? How does this affect my family? How does this affect my ministry?
Right.
You know, because I'm on a level where I am, whether I like it or not, you know, people are looking to me. For, you know, for answers. You know, some of my young adults ask me all kinds of questions, and I can't lead them if I'm not allowing God to lead them.
If you're being reckless, you can't allow them. Now we got like a minute and a half. Two more questions. One, the gentleman that was in the accident with you, was he angry with you? What I mean,
I don't know. He did not. He didn't express that he was upset.
Okay.
I haven't heard from him since. Like, I think I might have heard from him once after that, like a couple of years later. But yeah, he never expressed that he was upset.
No, so you guys are still in nothing, just nothing. Wow, okay, that's different.
We weren't really like close like that. Like, he was a guy that I worked with. I guess he liked me.
Yeah. But a situation like that could bond you together. You know, for a long time.
It didn't.
No. Wow. Okay.
Come to think of it, he didn't even visit me in the hospital after he left the hospital. Like, when I went back to Kessler, I didn't get no visit. No.
And whose car was it? Was it his car?
It was his. It was a rental, I think. Yeah, it was a rental car. It was a rental car.
Ooh. Now, one more question. Like, for somebody that's out there going through a situation in their life where they feel like, you know what, I can't get up, I can't change, I can't fight, I can't come through this situation. Perspective is not that great. Look in the camera. What would you say to them?
Well, if you are a believer, then you have to remember where God has brought you from before, because the Bible says He'll never leave us nor forsake us, and it's so true. Yet we still forget that when we're going through some things. It's so funny because I'm studying Luke, and we're talking about the area where Jesus sent the disciples away so He can go pray, and then the disciples were in the troubled waters. The waters were going crazy, and they're going crazy, and then here comes Jesus strolling on the water, like, yeah, I'm about to go meet y'all on the other side, and they're all scared, like, oh my God, who is that? And Jesus is like, duh, it's me. Chill out. Steps on the boat, and everything calms down. Right? That trust is so important. Like, you have to understand that without God, that we are nothing. We can do nothing. So you just got to remember who He is to you, who He was to other people, because His glory is evident everywhere we look. Right? So if we remember that and hold on to that, we'll be able to push our way through and see towards the end. Okay, God, I don't know what it is that you got going for me. I don't know how this is going to end, God, but I'm going to trust you. I'm going to praise you all the way through, whether I want to or not. That's so important. Because most times we don't want to do it.
You got to command your soul.
You don't want to do it. Exactly. Like, no, I'm just too out of it. I'm so down. I'm so depressed. I don't even want to think about what I need to do. But you know what? You have to think about what you need to do.
In that time, you have to. God, you got to just lift your hands.
You don't have a choice.
It's a sacrifice of praise. It's a sacrifice of praise sometimes. Because sometimes you don't want to do it. You don't want to be still. You don't want to read your word. You don't want to worship. But it's a sacrifice.
Absolutely.
And you just got to start. God, I thank you for this. And if you can't do anything but think on the good things.
That's it.
Think on the good things that God has done. And if you can't think on anything good that God has done, think on God is worthy to be praised regardless of whether you feel like He's done something good for you or not.
Miss Keisha Natalie Cole, I so appreciate you sharing.
Thank you for having me on I Ain't That Chick.
There we go.
Because I ain't that chick.
That's neither are you. We got to say goodbye to our audience. Goodbye, you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Want to find out more about I Ain't That Chick? Visit our website at www.IAin'tThatChick.com.